Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and as always, NoDQ.com, your source for the very latest in WWE and TNA. Got a very busy weekend with Survivor Series. Next weekend's going to be busy. Thanksgiving on Thursday, which also happens to be my 30th birthday. So, a lot going on. Black Friday weekend, all the chaos associated with that. But there's always time for NoDQ&A video. So let's get right down to it. This is from the fourth Nature Boy. Hi Aaron, big fan here. I was just wondering, what was your favorite 5-on-5 Survivor Series match and why? Please answer in, well, you know the rest. Even though it wasn't technically a 5-on-5 match, it was a 5-on-3 match. One of my all-time favorite Survivor Series matches was the Ultimate Match of Survival at Survivor Series 1990. I talked about this while I was doing my top 25 WWE pay-per-views in history. I loved the 1990 Survivor Series and the whole concept of a series of Survivor Series style matches, and then at the end there's one final match, the Ultimate Match of Survival, and it was just awesome. You had Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior coming off WrestleMania, and then Tito Santana was with them against Ted DiBiase and the entire Visionaries team. That was a lot of fun. Another Survivor Series match, not 5-on-5, but I loved the wild card match at Survivor Series 1995, where you had heels and faces on the same team. Would they be able to coexist? It made for an interesting Survivor Series match. This year's Survivor Series match kind of has a similar vibe with The Miz and Team Foley and Team Ziggler, and they're all having problems and not being able to function properly. So this year's Survivor Series match has a lot of potential. But in terms of a 5 versus 5 match, I think the one that stands out the most to me was 2003, Team Austin versus Team Bischoff. That match really stands out, and that was the end of Steve Austin as the co-GM, so it was an emotional moment in Texas, and Austin losing and doing the whole speech afterwards. And that was the beginning of Randy Orton having a Survivor Series streak. So that, yeah, that one was probably my favorite 5-on-5. Here's a question that requires a long answer. If you could create a super roster of any current living wrestler, WWE, TNA, WCW, ROH, ECW, the Indies, etc., who would be in your promotion from Ratitude? Well, unfortunately for you, I can sum this up pretty quickly. If I was doing a super roster, I'm a promoter, I'm going to try to make the most money possible. So I want the biggest drawing superstars. That would be Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and John Cena. I have those four. Financially, I'm set, and it does not matter who else is on the roster because I am going to be making big bucks. So there's my answer right there. Alright, this is from Jake Lewis 3386. When the likes of John Cena, CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, Big Show, Kane, and Triple H retire, do you see the WWE going out of business? I do, because the new talent does not seem to click with the crowd just like they used to. People were saying this 15 years ago. When Bret Hart left, people were saying that WWE was going to go out of business and that they were going to have no talent left, and the new stars just weren't going to be able to compare it to like Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, but WWE stayed in business. Eventually, there will be a new superstar that comes out of the horizons and becomes a major superstar and becomes the flagship of the company. There's no way to really know for sure who that will be. When it happens, it's something that will probably happen out of nowhere. There's just no way to predict it, but eventually something will click. Right now, nothing's really clicking, but WWE really hasn't been experimenting and trying to build up new talent all that well. I mean, they are pushing Ryback, but Ryback is fairly standard, and it's based off of Goldberg, so there's nothing new or innovative. I mean, really what WWE needs is just a new direction and a new superstar to represent that new direction. What that is, I don't know at this point. We're just going to have to wait and see, but I'm sure it will happen eventually. This is from Mr. Sepp Evie. Hi Aaron, why do wrestlers prefer to be a heel? I think because there's fewer limitations. When you're a babyface, you have to be politically correct, you have to watch what you say, You know, you have to be a good guy. When you're a heel, there's no limit. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want, and you know, you don't have to put on a facade. You can just go out there and just be creative, and you can be yourself. If the fans are bugging you, you can tell them off. When you're babyface, if you're getting heckled, you gotta watch your P's and Q's. You gotta stay calm and not react to it. Like John Cena, I'm sure if John Cena was a heel, he would have so much fun just being able to rip into all the people that have been booing him over the years. But because he's the flagship, because he's the top babyface in WWE, he has to always smile and just kiss the babies and do all that stuff. When you're a heel, you know, you can throw all that out the window. This is from JJ666. Two-part question. Do you think Brock Lesnar will sign another year after his contract is up? And if so, do you think we will see Lesnar versus Goldberg too? As far as Brock Lesnar signing another year, I definitely see that as a possibility. I'm sure Brock is happy wrestling 3 or 4 times a year and making a lot of money in doing so, and not having to travel a lot. So if WWE is willing to cough up the big bucks to sign him for another year, he's a businessman. At the end of the day, Brock Lesnar is a businessman, and I think he'll do what's best for him financially if it doesn't mean he has to go out there and perform on a regular basis. So we'll see. I mean, Brock Lesnar has moved numbers for WWE. Extreme Rules did above average. SummerSlam did a good number this year. And WWE's building WrestleMania around him. Brock Lesnar is on the poster for WrestleMania, and they sold over 50,000 tickets in the first day. So Brock Lesnar, up to this point, is earning his paychecks. So I do think there's a good chance that we'll see him for another year. But you never know. And as far as Lesnar versus Goldberg 2, don't think that's going to happen. I've talked about Goldberg before. I think it's highly unlikely we see Goldberg performing in WWE again. That's just my gut feeling. Anything could happen, but he's been gone for so long, and it's not... The big difference between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg is that Goldberg has been out of the mainstream eye for all these years now. Part of the reason WWE was willing to pay Brock Lesnar the big bucks and bring him back was because Brock had just come off his huge UFC run, and WWE could capitalize on that. There's really nothing to capitalize with Bill Goldberg. He's been gone for so long, and his name just isn't a big deal anymore. So bringing him back might generate a little bit of interest from die-hard WWE fans, but beyond that, it's not going to be a big deal from a mainstream perspective. This is from Crayon4810. I think Elimination Chamber is poorly placed between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. What if an Elimination Chamber match took place at the October pay-per-view instead of Hell in a Cell, and the winner could get a title shot at Survivor Series? What do you think? Elimination Chamber has actually done really well in that spot. One would think that whatever pay-per-view is there would not do well because people would buy Royal Rumble and then they would save their money for WrestleMania. But ever since WWE has been doing the Elimination Chamber matches in the February pay-per-view, that February pay-per-view slot has been doing a lot better. So I think WWE found something that works for them, and I like the idea of Royal Rumble winner facing the WWE champion or the world champion, and then the winner of Elimination Chamber faces the other champion. I like that concept. WWE has kind of been mixing it up. If it was me, I would only have one Elimination Chamber match. I think 2 is overkill. I just think it's too much. And, I mean, that is a decent idea to have it be in the October pay-per-view and use that to help build Survivor Series. I liked the idea of King of the Ring leading up to SummerSlam, and you could have something leading up to Survivor Series, but I just don't see it happening. I think WWE has a good thing with Elimination Chamber, and they'll continue to do it as long as it draws a decent buy rate. I think they'll continue to have the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view be in February. This is from Chili Willy 90. Hey Aaron, love the show. Thank you for that. What are your thoughts on Brad Maddox's brutal match with Ryback, and do you see WWE planning something huge for him? Please answer in video. I will answer in video for you. I am not sure what's going to happen with Brad Maddox. The word backstage is that Triple H is a big fan of his, so that could be a good thing for him moving forward. But the way WWE did it on Raw, it sure seemed like they were writing him off of television completely. I mean, Ryback just completely destroyed him. He went in the ambulance, and that was it. It really felt like WWE was writing off the character. But I do think we will see Brad Maddox again. I suspect that he'll be back at some point, and not really sure what you can do with him. Maybe make him a manager, but if Triple H is high on him, I do think we'll see him back at some point. If Goldberg had stayed in WWE for longer than a year, who would you have liked to see him in a match with? If we're going back to 2004 and Goldberg had stayed another year with WWE, the obvious choices would have been Kurt Angle for one and Shawn Michaels, just to see what those guys could do with Goldberg, because Kurt Angle can have a great match with just about anybody. So I would have been curious to have seen how a Goldberg versus Kurt Angle match played out. And same thing with Shawn Michaels. What kind of match would those two have had? Maybe those two could have gotten a great match out of Goldberg. Who knows? But certainly Michaels and maybe Batista. Once Batista caught on, you could have done a big Goldberg versus Batista world title match. That would have been cool. Or Goldberg versus Randy Orton once Randy Orton really got into the legend killer gimmick. So those would have been some of my matches. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest regarding Survivor Series and all the fallout. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com this week. I'll be announcing the 2012 year-end awards, so watch out for that. And, of course, stay tuned to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and check out the ongoing top 25 WWE pay-per-views in history list. And let me know what you think about those videos. Let me know what you think about this video. And I'll see you next time for more.